Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about a great nonfiction book that I think you should read, however educated or non-educated you are. It's called A Little History of the World by EH Gombrich. This is a great book that tells history right from the prehistory period right through to the nuclear era. There is no index in this book, but the table of contents is very well set out. It mostly tells history through the kind of battles that took place, but also it tells you about history through the development of thought and so different philosophers and religious leaders that have appeared throughout history. I myself found the bit on Confucius, who was a Chinese thinker, very interesting, and others who are widely read will also find details that they didn't know in this book, I think. So Confucius believed that princes should be very honorable, and I found this to be very interesting, the way it's written about the way they should make sure they're helping their citizens interested me. I'm more attuned to the way that princes are considered in Europe, which is often in a kind of mischievous, kind of dishonorable light, which I don't really like to read about, actually. So this Confucius philosopher really interested me. Other bits of the book I liked were the bits about the knights in Europe who were evidently very honorable people who took care of the weak within their communities, and I found that very interesting. I didn't know really about that before. I knew about the way the kind of popes had a lot of power in Europe, so that was totally known to me. I also found the bit about the way the Europeans educated the Japanese to be extremely fascinating. In this book, the writer regards the Japanese to be the best students of all time because of the way they learned from the Europeans, which I found very fascinating. I learned about the significance of the Great Wall of China. The bit on Napoleon, I think, might be a little bit inaccurate, I feel. I was a bit uncomfortable with the way the author kind of romanticized Napoleon. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. I basically really liked the author, though the author's voice, I mean. The bit on Hitler was also very sketchy. I'm sure it was far more sketchy than the bit on Napoleon, which was interesting because I think Hitler had just as much effect on the world as Napoleon. There are lots of bits of history missed out and no mention of many countries such as those in Southeast Asia, such as the Philippines and Vietnam. So you feel like it's not totally complete. There's hardly any mention of the Vikings, and they were a major source of development in the world. So you feel like it's not 100% good, but it's certainly a very valiant effort to draw out a history of the world. Other bits I found memorable were mention of the Great Wall of China and the way that most of Europe just wasn't a country. Back then it was mainly made up of, France and Spain and a kind of Austrian empire. The way the Russians started out just as peasant people was very interesting to me. So if you've read this book, I'd be really interested about which part really stuck out for you. Was it the bit on the ancient Egyptians? Was it the bit on the biblical characters? Was it the bits on China? Did you find the German part of the book interesting? Did you find the Napoleon bit interesting? Did you find the prehistory bit a bit threadbare? I'd be greatly interested to know what inspired you about this book. Have you tended to read books on particular bits of history before and therefore found this book a bit of fresh air? So please leave a comment on this book. I like to think I'm a bit of a authority on things like science fiction, but I'm just someone who reads nonfiction like everybody else, so I feel like it can really relate to a lot of readers on this topic. I really enjoyed the section on the chivalrous knights, and that section may even inspire me to write a story. So please inform me what you're reading, and I highly recommend you read this book and get back to me in the comments. Thanks. I'll see you next time.